Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're new, I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life story with autism and mental health along with tips and advice. I also do advocacy versus tips and advice along the way for your general health versus your mental health, as well as just some fun and games along the way to take you all on a journey what life is like for me as an autistic. So if you're into any of these variations and more, feel free to subscribe on the bottom right hand corner. And if you do so today, if you join me on the bandwagon as my YouTube family, feel free to smash that notification bell also so you can keep up to date when I post. Because as I said, usually I post 3 days a week, but then it might subject to change. So as you're aware, basically, if not, I suggest that you start watching some of my videos or keep on following me via through my Facebook or Instagram and everything else that I'm trying to raise awareness for this week, especially of the month of September 15th to the 22nd, which is mitochondrial disease. I obviously have actually shared briefly what you can do, to help with this, to raise awareness and whatnot. Basically, if you haven't seen that video, I suggest that you can watch this video after this one so that you can get a clear overview of what I'm sharing with you all based on raising awareness for this condition. And as you're aware also, basically, that I'll list it in the description for some of these videos that I've done so far of the series, because as I said, I'm hoping to break it into series right now for the last few parts of this week of mitochondrial disease. Even though, okay, I'm not in green to raise awareness because that's the colour it represents, like many of the other conditions that I know of that represents in that colour of green or different forms of green. Basically, you've got mental health, you've got this one, but they all wear green and some other forms of different, symbols or logos to represent certain different, criteria to match with what they're raising awareness for. So in this case, with what I've seen on the Global Mitochondrial Awareness Week page on Instagram, I think, or either through Facebook, they have got a ribbon with, obviously, underneath the ribbon, like shapes of mitochondria, hence the title of this condition, mitochondrial disease. Because obviously, as I said before, I mentioned what a mitochondria is just as a quick brief overview of it all, of the anatomy and physiology. And I also talked about in the very first one what is actually the mitochondrial disease, with a bit of few facts here and there so that you can get the lowdown. But hopefully I'll bring out some more facts throughout the videos, as well as maybe separately. If you want to know more about it, I'll gladly design up a video. And before I begin this, also as a disclaimer, I'm no medical doctor, so if you see anything out of the ordinary, do seek help for yourself, basically, or seek an opinion, or also in saying this, do seek professional help for yourself, for that loved one that you love and care about that's showing some signs and symptoms from maybe the past or present videos that I've shared, because I don't forever condone self-harm. Yes, I'm going to have to break this one down for the causes and signs and symptoms into one, because obviously, as you know, it will have to anyways. But just as a recap, basically, mitochondrial disease obviously is based on, like, as I said, a chronic long-term genetic disorder, that's often occurs when a mitochondria fails to produce enough energy for the body to function properly. So basically, this can be present at birth or occur at old age, as I mentioned. And also, in saying this, there are, for this, a group of disorders that comes into play with this mitochondrial disorder caused by the dysfunctional mitochondria, basically. And in saying this, the organelles that generate energy for the cell, and some of these mitochondrial diseases can affect almost any part of the body, as I shared. So let's begin this causes for the mitochondrial disease, because you may be wondering, well, what are the causes there, Aspie? Please share. So, as I said before, mitochondrial disease is primarily a genetic condition. Mitochondrial disorders may be caused by mutations acquired or inherited in mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA in this case, or in nuclear genes that code for mitochondrial components. So therefore, hopefully the illustration will show you briefly what I'm sharing on this right now so that you can get a view of the idea. They may also be the result of acquired mitochondrial dysfunction due to adverse effects of drugs, infections, or other environmental causes thereof. The nuclear DNA, however, has 2 copies per cell except for the sperm and egg cell. One copy being inherited from the father and then the other is being inherited by the mother. Mitochondrial DNA, however, is strictly inherited from the mother, and each mitochondrial organelle typically contains between 2 and 10 mtDNA copies. During cell division, the mitochondria segregate randomly between the 2 new cells. Those mitochondria make small copies, normally reaching 500 mitochondria per cell. As mtDNA is copied when mitochondria proliferate, they can accumulate random mutations, a phenomenon called heteroplasmy. If only a few of the mtDNA copies inherited from the mother are defective. Mitochondrial division may cause most of the defective copies to end up in just one of the new mitochondria. Mitochondrial disease may become clinically apparent once the number of affected mitochondria reaches a certain level. This phenomenon is called threshold expression. So basically, the next question you'll be wondering is, what are the signs and symptoms of mitochondrial disorder? The symptoms may include the following: poor growth, loss of muscle coordination, muscle weakness, muscle pain, visual problems, hearing problems, learning disabilities, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, gastrointestinal disorders, respiratory disorders, neurological problems, autonomic dysfunction, and dementia. Acquired conditions in which mitochondrial dysfunction has been involved are diabetes, Huntington's disease, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, aging and senescence, anxiety disorders, cardiovascular disease, sarcopenia, and chronic fatigue syndrome. The body in each mutation is modulated by another genome variant. The mutation that in one individual may cause liver disease might in another person cause a brain disorder. The severity of the specific defect may also be great or small. Some defects include exercise intolerance. Defects often affect the operation of the mitochondria and multiple tissues more severely, leading to multi-system diseases. As a rule, mitochondrial diseases are worse when the defective mitochondria are present in the muscles, cerebrum, or nerves, because these cells use up the more energy in the body than other cells in the body. Although mitochondrial diseases may vary greatly in presentation from person to person, as I said, several major clinical categories of these conditions have been defined based on the most common phenotypic features, symptoms, and signs associated with the particular mutations that tend to cause them. An outstanding question in the area of research is whether ATP depletion or reactive oxygen species are in fact responsible for the observed phenotypic consequences. Cerebellar atrophy. What is it? Well, cerebellar atrophy is a degeneration of the cerebellum, a section of the brain responsible for balance, voluntary muscle movements, and posture. People with damage to the cerebellum can experience symptoms like unsteady gait, poor muscle control, and trouble speaking or swallowing, or hypoplasia has sometimes been reported to be associated with this. So that obviously basically is cerebellar atrophy, but as I said before, that these branches off to other disorders as listed above. Right, obviously this wraps up what I have been sharing with you all for the part 2 of the causes, signs and symptoms of mitochondrial disease. If there's anyone out there before I wrap it up that does go through this on the daily, can you maybe share your story in the comment section below? And also don't forget to share these videos around to others, and also maybe if you want to just find a page that is relevant for this to be shared, hearsay, so that hopefully inside this that it can be reached to others around us so that we can learn and educate one another from all these different conditions, as I said, because I'm all about awareness and inclusion regardless what it may be. So don't forget to, guys, don't forget to smash that like button if you like this, comment below as I shared, feel free to share these videos around. Feel free to also follow me on my social medias, because as I said, I might likely to post off certain things up there, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. So, and all for the do, guys. Thanks for support, thanks for watching, do what love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.